So, I goofed a little bit in the first update. Apparently there were a few supply caches that I missed because I was going a little bit too fast on the boat chase. So, here's a bit of a quick roundup just showing all the Lambda locations that I passed by accident. Number 1. There's this open pipe here, and you dive through some water, you fight a zombie, and you break some crates, and you're done. Number 2. There's this little side area here. You have to jump out of your boat, kind of squeeze on through. Easy peasy. Next one. Big old chase right before you surf on some pipes. Gotta break some platforms, and then just run over the boxes as they fall in the water. And finally, we've got ourselves a little bit of a detour to the left, right before we have some barnacles and some guys falling down. This one, I don't really see the Lambda, but I'll take their word for it. And that's it. Roundup over. Let's get back to it. So, welcome back to Water Hazard. I'm still Blasphemous, and with me is still Crow.
Hey, folks.
So, as I said last time, last chapter was sort of just basically us moving around, and trying to avoid pursuit. This part of the chapter is going to flip the script a little bit as soon as we're done with this little puzzle. Yeah, it's another ramp, but with a twist. I really love the way that lever works. It's like, it makes the platform descend really quickly, so you can see the association between it and the ramp. And then you realize, okay, I'm going to need some weight. You throw the barrel in. Okay, not enough weight. So what can I find that's heavier? Aha! Yeah, I think it's all very, interesting how they signposted this.
Although, I am somewhat curious about the... Oh, hello.
Curious about the what now?
Oh, I'm just curious about, okay, so... Yeah, they've clearly set up that puzzle, to have, okay, this is the effect that this has, for right the here and now, but, I'm just sort of wondering, okay, what the hell was this thing used for, before the Combine fucked Earth?
I mean, I'm guessing that we're still, following the trail of the railroad. Remember, this is the path to Black Mesa East that we're following here, with signs and maps and things like that. So, I'm guessing somehow they got that washing machine back up onto that platform every time they use the ramp. Maybe we're not supposed to think about it too hard.
Probably not.
Hey! You're Freeman, aren't you?
That's me.
I wouldn't believe it if I couldn't see with my own eyes. Dr. Gordon Freeman himself.
Just in time, Doc. We gotta move out before the Combine...
Yeah, no, at this point I'm thinking the doctor part of Dr. Gordon Freeman is definitely ceremonial now.
Get out of here.
I mean, he's still got a PhD, even if nobody's going to honor it.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah, this part's always had a weird bit of, scripting, where everyone's just got to be in the right positions.
Here, take a look at this. This here's the dam. It's just up ahead. Eli's hideout is here, a stone's throw from the apron and nestled in the old hydro plant. But getting there, with that hunter chopper on your ass, next to impossible. Good news is, the Vortigaunt's working his magic on your airboat, so you'll have a little more firepower going forward. I think he's just finishing up now. Go on out.
Yeah, you remember how in the original game the Vortigaunts, all they did was shoot electric bolts at you.
100 choppers that you're up against.
Yep.
Always like to bring a little iron in.
Yeah, they've had their powers expanded to a little bit where it's basically just kind of like magic.
Eli's place.
The Freeman will accept this weapon or suffer greatly on the road ahead.
Yeah, alien electricity can do just about anything. Anyway, we got ourselves an airboat gun.
Give 'em hell, Doc.
So yeah, this is gonna make the back half of this level quite a lot easier.
You'd think that, wouldn't you? Hey buddy, check out my new toy.
And it immediately runs away screaming.
I mean, wouldn't you? This thing has a really fast recharge rate, and it just tears through anything. Like, it almost feels unfair. But
Well,
it's
again-
it's a kind of unfair that's in your favor, so...
Yeah, like it's unfair in the sense that you are literally just turning the Combine's weapons against themselves, so...
Like, that's really, like, the thing about Gordon Freeman that makes him such a fun character, is that, like, his primary way of fighting is just basically to use all the tools that are on hand to just wreak havoc on enemies. Like, in the original game, like, he'd be, like, throwing alien bugs, using experimental tech.
Yeah, just utilizing, like, things that you've seen enemies use, both in the way that you've seen them used already and in unconventional ways that not even they thought of to get the advantage.
Yeah, like, you are playing an action hero, but you're also playing a scientist, and I think they're conveying that very well.
Yeah, like, I think this is why, like, so many people have sort of glommed onto, like, Ross Scott's Freeman's Mind interpretation of Gordon Freeman as, like, the canon take on who Gordon Freeman is, just this mix of just, like, sort of scientist, sociopath, and action hero.
Mm-hmm.
Just
By
a
the way,
guy
there-
who...
There was something interesting in that last shot. Did you see it?
Maybe? I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, like, there's this little gap here. Oh, also there was a G-Man appearance, but this is more important. Yeah, like, if you were using the Magnum a lot, which I wasn't, then this was basically a full refill. I mean, you might have noticed that in this game, like, I was already complained about the grenade launcher, but ammo limits are just really prohibitive. And that means that if you find any ammo, like any at all, you're probably already close to being full. I haven't talked too much about achievements, by the way, but there's this one particular achievement called Lambda Locator. Basically, you have to find every single Lambda sign in the game, and it's a little difficult.
Yeah,
Like, what were you saying?
I was gonna say that seems like someone basically, or something geared towards people who play this game just obsessively.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are just slightly out of the way, but there are some where you have to really do like creative things in order to find them. And it's always those last little ones, like you have to get every single Lambda that really like mess up an achievement run. And that was me just being like, oh wow, I came that close to being snatched by a barnacle.
Yeah, like I honestly thought it got you there.
Oh look, it's another wall of fire. And an infinite rain of exploding barrels. Like, it doesn't look infinite, but once we get closer, yeah, it just keeps on coming.
Yeah, like, I think it was, like, this specific wall of infinite raining exploding barrels that was basically the inspiration for, the old Machinima comic Concerned.
I mean,
The Half-Life and Death of Gordon Froman.
I think there might have been a little bit more than that, but yeah, like all those jokes about ordering like thousands of this and that. So yeah, like there's no real explanation for why City 17 has like exploding barrels like just littering everywhere. So some guy ordering them in ridiculous bulk amounts makes just about as much sense, doesn't it?
Basically. Well, I mean, one of the first things the Combine did was basically shut down, like, all internal combustion engines the second they descended upon Earth, so, like, gasoline was effectively useless at that point. So it kind of makes sense that, yeah, there's now this weird, like, overabundance of it, where the fact that, like, there's only, like, barely 10% of the human population left and still 100% of the gasoline left on Earth.
Ah, I see. So the Combine solved the energy crisis.
Basically, yeah. I mean, though, if you, I don't know, consider, like, genocide and forced sterilization solving the energy crisis.
Yeah, maybe not. By the way, you notice anything kind of weird about these boats? Like the fact that they're, like, almost 7 or 8 feet off from where the dock is.
Oh yeah, I was going to point that out eventually at some point. Yeah, the water level around here seems to be just a tiny bit mysteriously universally low.
Yeah. Almost as if, according to developer commentary, the Combine put a giant portal in the ocean floor. Like, no, that's actually their explanation, that water levels are universally, like, lowering around the world because the Combine are siphoning it for other worlds.
And again, we're going to be seeing more coastal areas and more sort of water-type levels like this before the game is done, and yeah, we'll definitely be getting the chance to see that in better detail, I suppose. But yeah, this is your first taste of it, really.
Uh-huh. It's interesting how, like, there are lots of things that the game doesn't outright tell you, but you can sort of, like, if you're paying attention, realize, oh, something's off here.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these water locks basically holding out what appears to be like a tiny trickle of water. I'm sure they would have been a lot more useful when the water was, you know, up there.
Yeah, and it's basically like the whole reason that like any water is still here, like in this canal that runs through City 17, is because, like, again, just this is the water that is just left over that effectively, like, the portals, like the portal in the ocean could not finish draining because, yeah, like the seafloor geography of, like, the estuary basically sort of trapped the remaining water in here, so now it's just sort of slowly diminishing because it's evaporating, not because the Combine are doing anything to it.
Anyway, it's a boss fight.
With a nice big open arena.
And a bunch of crates sitting around that give you, like, health and battery refills. It's honestly pretty well even. Like, the helicopter has a slightly longer charge on its autogun than you do, but you also have a whole lot of cover you can hide behind, and you can also maneuver out of its reach. I don't, though. Like, you'll see, like, how far my health goes down by the end of this fight.
Well, also, its bullet spread is a lot wider than yours is too, so
Oh yeah,
like,
and this attack. You know the story behind, like, how this attack came to be?
No, how?
Well, basically, like, when they were setting up its auto-gun routine, they accidentally set the gun to fire bombs instead of bullets, and it
Oh,
just, like,
God.
fired out, like, bombs in a ridiculous, like, giant spread. Ended up crashing the game, but they loved the look of it so much, they made it just an actual attack.
Yeah, that's often the way that cool things go in game development, of just accidentally doing something, running it through testing, and seeing like, oh wow, that actually looks really cool, and then just leaving it in.
Mm-hmm. And Valve are well known for just, like, throwing ideas out and just seeing what works and what doesn't. There is, in fact, a large amount of cut content from this game because they developed stuff that was cool in theory, but didn't actually, like, make for a fun game.
And again, that is both Valve's strength, and as we've seen over the past, like, 15 years, also its incredible weakness.
That they, like, make stuff and then just throw it all out without actually salvaging any of it.
Yep. Like, there's, like... I think it's, like, it's either a video or, like, this sort of PDF book on just essentially, like, the making of Half-Life Alyx, where, like, developers from Valve, both the current and former, just sort of complained that, like, it turned into just, like, one big giant, like, sort of, like, hippy-dippy, like, adult playground nightmare corporation at its worst, of just, like, people would just, like, show up and, like, you know, play hacky sack 8 hours a day, and, like, project developers would just give, like, a vague notion of what, you know, just make what you feel like making, you know, like, we're all good here, just, you know, there's no deadlines, there's no schedules, it's a completely creative environment, and so, like, literally no one at Valve had any idea about, okay, what the fuck are we gonna do, what should we be doing, like, does any of the stuff that, like, you know, the A team made work with what the B team has made, and, like, then just, they randomly decide, okay, no, like, we're not really feeling this at the moment, so just, okay, take everything you've done, toss it out, and just come up with a new idea. It's all good. And they just basically, yeah, they just sort of guru hippied their way into near extinction by the time, like, they finally figured out, okay, oh fuck, it's been 15 years, we've not made a single game since, like, Left 4 Dead 2. God, please, someone help us.
Oh, by the way, you might have saw me kind of like staring over at that one area back there. Like, there's supposed to be a G-Man location there, but for whatever reason, I've never been able to actually capture him being there. Like, maybe it's just because I accidentally looked in his direction during the fight and he walked away. I don't know.
Could be, yeah.
Oh, speaking of secrets, you see this?
Oh.
Yeah. There is a significant bit of lore inside that sewer grate.
Oh, is this the all-knowing Vortigaunt?
It sure is.
Oh, hell yeah.
But first, yeah, run for your life.
Yeah, ow, 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 ow.
Must remember us from Black Mesa.
Yeah, this is actually going to go on for about, I'm going to say like 6 or 7 minutes, just going through all these voice clips, which are, you know, detailing like the entire backstory of the Vortigons and why they're here and what they're doing.
And yeah, this will definitely clear up a bunch of lingering mysteries from Half-Life 1 as well.
And the whole thing is completely optional, completely missable. Like, you can go through the entire game having no idea, like, about the Vortigons' motivations, or in fact, even the basic characteristics of how they work with one another and can see across time and space.
Communion of the vortessence and that other, a deeper mystery. deeper than the void itself.
Yeah, the vortescence here. Like that is actually super important. And it's like you hear about the vortescence in other cases, but without without this sort of explanation, it all just sounds like gobbledygook.
The song we sing and shall sing for eternity, no matter the consequences.
And of course he talks about the other who is completely alien to them and cannot interact with the vortescence. I wonder who that's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We are there still in observance of
And yeah, that whole idea that the Vortigons can see basically like the lives and struggles and deaths of all of their kind, sort of, that they're all connected across this field that they call the vortescence, and so they can basically like feel like a giant hive mind almost.
The talisman of victory, the day of freedom draws nigh.
It's all really fascinating stuff, and we're just kind of talking over it. But I kind of feel like it's like the way it's like presented is also a little bit boring.
Far distant eyes look out through your
Bit of tapping on the fourth wall there.
secret steers us both. We shall not name it. We have endured these chafing bonds for eons, yet a single moment of further servitude seems intolerable. How often have we slipped our yoke only to find it choking us again?
Yeah, I feel like there must have been a better way to convey all this, like, in just having like a single character just having to tap on the character over and over again in order to keep on getting nuggets of lore.
Beside you here upon this miserable rock. The way ahead is dark for the moon man. What seems to you a sacrifice is merely to us an hostility.
Well, I don't know.
We do not feel
I'll take this compared to like how Half-Life 2 like otherwise presents its story to you, where it's again you're witnessing it through passing glances and it just happens at its own pace,
Yeah,
and then it's gone.
and nothing really cares about what you're doing. Everyone's just going to play out what they're meant to do.
Yeah.
They're going to pretend that they're interacting with you, but like you could be bopping them in the head with a crowbar and they wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, like again, this is the thing that I find is the one major flaw of the conceit that you are Gordon Freeman is the fact that, yeah, technically Gordon Freeman does not exist as a character, so just things are happening around you rather than, like, you know, happening with and to Gordon.
shall prevail.
Anyway, I think we've gone through all of our voice quotes. Like, he's become conspicuously less wheezy. Like, we're kind of going into stock lines at this point.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
We have survived worse across the ages.
I'm just going to take this med kit here and, vamos. Been nice talking to you. And now back to the pain. Ow, 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 ow. Yeah. This was a worthy diversion, I think. Believe it or not, like, this is actually sort of the swan song for our airboat here. Like, we have basically exhausted all of its usefulness, more or less, and we're about to enter into a segment where the airboat becomes lost forever, and the game never uses the airboat ever again.
For better or worse, depending on your opinions of it.
I mean, I didn't mind it. Like, it was really ridiculously bouncy, but sure, but... like, I think that, for the most part, it controlled in a kind of a funny way. Hey, guys.
Though, as I mentioned earlier, this will sadly, or fortunately, not be our last vehicle segment, but, again, all things in due time, I suppose.
For sure. Yeah. I don't think it should be alarming at all that, the game is now, like, arming us with all of our weapons, filling up our health and our battery. Like, we are not, by any means, about to enter into a segment where ammo is about to become, like, grievously scarce. No, sir. But I guess more about that in a couple chapters.
Oh yeah, no, everyone who has already played this game and is listening to this commentary just clenched, because they know what's coming.
I don't really have to, like, drive the airboat over here, but there was something that I found in testing that was also, like, super easy to replicate, and I just thought was really, really funny. Like, you'll see in it just a second. Now then, behold. Keep beholding. The levitating boat!
How the hell did you do that?
I don't know.
Did it glom onto, like, the ladder physics?
I think the propeller, like caught on the wall behind it or something.
And again, it's one of those wonderful mysteries of Half-Life's code that you'll never really figure out and never really understand.
No, no, sir. So, yeah, just gotta hop through this gate here, and we are on to the next chapter. Though, oddly enough, like, you'll be seeing this in a second, but this is actually, like, the hardest jump in the game for me. Like,
Really?
yeah, like, there's this curved log here, and for some reason I can just never get up enough speed.
Oh,
Like, I'm going to show you another blooper, I guess, but I'm going to spare you, like, how many tries this took.
yeah, no, this is definitely one that you need, like, a massive running start to get up onto it.
Yeah, that time I should have, you know, I should have been on the right side, but anyway. So, here is where it gets done correctly. Behold. Cool backflip.
Whoa. Like I said, the airboat's center of gravity is literally wherever it feels like it is at any given point, at any given time.
Yeah. And, well, here we are at Black Mesa East. That's been our goal for basically this entire section of the game, so I guess we're done, right?
Hopefully for the water level, but then again, considering what the hell happened at Black Mesa West the last time we were here, I'm not looking forward to whatever the hell is about to go down at Black Mesa East now.
Oh, I'm sure that calling something Black Mesa won't carry any kind of a curse with it. Let's not be ridiculous here.
Oh yeah, because if there's one thing that Eli Vance is just absolutely spectacular at, it's never tempting fate ever at all.